Well, hello everyone, my name is Zwiggojr and welcome back to another video. This week we're once again going to be taking on Pokemon Renegade Platinum, which we have already taken on in the past with Cyrus's team, but this time we're going to be checking out one feature of this game, and that is the increased shiny odds feature. The shiny odds in this game have actually been changed to 1 in 512, so not too hard but also not too easy. It can still take you hours to get shiny Pokemon, but that's exactly why you guys are here probably. So today I'll be showing you my shiny journey in Pokemon Renegade Platinum. This is not a Nuzlocke though. If a Pokemon dies I can still use it because I don't want to lose my shiny Pokemon. But I am only going to be able to allow myself to get 8 Pokemon, so my starter and then 7 others, so that I have 8 Pokemon for 8 gym badges. Besides that, let me know what your least favorite shiny Pokemon is. And also, why? Mine is definitely Garchomp because I feel like they could have done so much more with it. And instead of doing that, they gave us one of the worst shiny forms ever where barely anything changes. And while you guys are down there, also don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And with that out of the way, let's jump right into Pokemon Renegade Platinum with only shiny Pokemon. Since we're going to be seeing a lot of shiny sparkles in this video, I decided to name myself the shiniest thing on Earth, a diamond. Hopefully that will increase our odds just a little bit more. And our rival's name will be Mark. I don't know, I just picked Mark. This is Mark, okay? Don't question. As you can see from the gameplay, I also recorded this run with a timer so you can see exactly how long this run took me. Do take in mind that this is with speed up. So at the end, my in-game time will definitely be a lot different than my real timer. In this game, you have the 3 normal Sinnoh starters, Turtwig, Chimchar, and Piplup, and I decided to just pick between the 3 of them, so that I would get a random shiny. After going for about half an hour though, I decided to scrap Piplup because I don't really like his shiny, and I just went with Turtwig and Chimchar. And after going back and forth between the 2 the entire time, I eventually managed to get myself a shiny Chimchar at 1 hour and 4 minutes into the game. This was also definitely the one that I wanted the most because I feel like Chimchar's shiny is probably the best of the 3. After then burning the little penguin with some embers, we had some nice penguin meat and went on over to the professor's lab where we could name our little monkey, and I decided to name him Wes. With Wes by our side, we also get our Pokeball so we can capture even more shiny Pokemon, and we then headed to the trainer school to gather some more knowledge. After finding out the meaning of life, we went back into the tall grass to beat up every Pokemon that we saw, and eventually my Chimchar reached level 14 so that he would evolve into a Monferno. And his added fighting type will definitely help us against the first gym leader, Rourke, because he will of course have rock types. Before he can take on Rourke though, my Monferno first has to destroy our rival Starly with Flame Wheel, Piplup with Mach Punches, and then Munchlax with a Mach Punch too. After this, we also find out that gym leaders are apparently underpaid because some of them have to work down in the mines. That doesn't mean that he isn't generous though, he's still giving us a free stone of our choice, and I decided to go with the water stone. Not that we're ever going to use it though. After he's done in the mine, he goes back to his full-time job as being a gym leader, which means that it's time for us to beat him. Luckily for us, he just leads with a nose pass, which is very heavy, so we can just low kick that thing into oblivion. Low kick and Mach Punch to Geodude too. The Onix shares the same fate, and basically the rest of his Pokemon all share the same fate. Because you know what they say about rocks, if you punch them, they die. So that's our first gym badge acquired already, which means that we can use another shiny Pokemon. But before we decide to go and hunt again, we have to carefully choose what we want. And this lady in the Pokemon Center actually gives you 3 Pokemon at once, which is very nice because that means that we have even more chances of getting a shiny. And the 3 Pokemon that you get from this lady are Torchic, Treecko, and Mudkip. Yes, you heard that right. Mudkip is available. So, you know, I'm gonna have to go for it. So anyway, I started resetting. And despite this lady giving me 3 Pokemon at once, it still took me the longest to get this shiny than any other shiny in this entire video. It actually took me around 2 hours and a half before I managed to get my first of the 3 shiny Pokemon, and guess which one I got? Mudkip. I definitely would have taken Treecko as well. I just wouldn't have been happy with Torchic because we already have a firefighting type, but Mudkip, I am the happiest man on earth right now. I mean, look into his eyes and tell me this isn't the most adorable shiny ever. With my 2 sparkling Pokemon in hand, I went ahead and took on this region's evil team, Team Galactic, which is all about space and stuff. So we just shoot him off into space with our Mudkip. And shortly after, my Mudkip also evolved into a Marshtomp. Also, is it just me, or does Marshtomp's 3D design in the later games look very cursed? The next thing we have to do is chase Team Galactic out of the power plant because they're trying to steal the energy there. Or whatever, I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, Marshtomp destroys Zubat, Wes easily takes care of the big fat cat, Bronzor dies to a single Flame Wheel, and then for Yanma we just Rock Tomb that thing once, 4 times super effective, another easy win for me. Let's move on over to the forest. One thing that's very cool about Renegade Platinum is these added battles that are not in regular Platinum, but they actually should be, so I hope Game Freak kinda considers these in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but I highly doubt it. Also, Cheryl's team is pretty trash, so we just sweep that entire thing and made our way through the spooky forest together with her. And after reaching the next town, we also found Ninja from Fortnite. Then while I was just picking up some items and walking through the grass, I found a random shiny, so I don't even have to hunt for this one. It's a pretty bad one though. I don't really like Chingling or Chimecho, but it could have definitely been worse. After capturing the little bell, we named it Drake, and we then went to the Snowy Mountains to find the Grass-type gym leader, Gardenia. And as you may know, we have a Fire-type on the team, so we can just Flame Wheel, Flamethrower, Flamethrower, Flame Wheel, Flame Wheel, Flame Wheel, Flip. Dead. 2 gym badges acquired, which means that we can now use our 3rd shiny Pokemon, Chingling, and we're immediately just evolving it into Chimecho. With Chimecho, we have to go and do a rescue operation because Team Galactic has once again been up to no good and stealing people's Pokemon. I still don't really get why they steal Pokemon since they can just capture them in the wild themselves, which would be a lot less of a hassle, but hey, I'm not an evil team leader, I can't decide what these people do. And Chimecho immediately puts in the work destroying her first Pokemon Golbat with a single extra sensory. Wes then killed Sableye with Flame Wheels, Skuntank went down to my Marshtomp's Bulldozes, and she then had another Tangela, which I destroyed with Wes once again, 1 Flame Wheel, and we have won the battle. Shortly after on our journey, we found a little girl stuck in a cave. We just left her there. After leaving, my Monferno evolved into an Infernape and I got chased by a ghost of a hiker, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what this is. Probably just karma for leaving that little girl in that cave. Next up on the list is actually a battle with Dawn, which you never get to do in the regular Platinum. So that's pretty cool. Our Marshtomp manages to destroy Piloswine with Aqua Tail and Bulldoze. The next 2 Pokemon, Clefable and Grotle, got killed by Flame Wheels from Infernape, and the final Pokemon, Lopunny, just took 1 Mach Punch to the face, which meant that we could already move on to the next part, which was an attack on my life. After talking to the lady with a fan strapped to the back of her head, we also got permission to beat her up. Before we do that though, we evolve our Marshtomp into the best Pokemon of all time, Swampert. Even though he's the best Pokemon of all time, he does have the worst shiny of his evolution line in my opinion. With this beefed up team, I went and took on Fantina. So I just started with Infernape against her Drifblim, set up her Sword Stance, and I started sweeping. Nothing on her team could outspeed me or survive a single hit from my boosted Flame Wheel. So we acquired our 3rd gym badge as easy as the 2nd one. I'm actually pretty happy that we got Infernape as our starter because Turtwig definitely wouldn't have been able to sweep this much. Now in normal Platinum, you would just be able to go through the next gym leader quite easily without many backtracking. Well, in Renegade Platinum, you first have to do the regular rival battle and then do an entire detour. The rival battle itself really wasn't that hard. Chimecho destroyed Staravia and Heracross pretty quickly, while Infernape took care of Snorlax with some Mach Punches, and Prinplup actually managed to burn my Swampert and then kill me with a Scald, but shortly after, Chimecho could just swoop up the Prinplup with Psychic. After this, we get a call from a maid who needs some help with the Team Galactic situation, so we send all of the baby Pokemon upon it. And since these boys are pretty scary, Team Galactic is going to be running off rather quickly. Sadly enough for us though, they're not going down without a fight. Luckily for us, we had Mark on our side, and his Snorlax combined with my Infernape put in a lot of work in order to kill both of their teams. Not really with much ease because they managed to kill 2 of my 3 Pokemon, but in the end we did overpower them. We also got our third gym badge a little while ago, which also means that we can get a new encounter. And this time I decided to just go in the grass and hopefully find myself a Scyther. And even if I didn't get Scyther, I could get Rapidash, I could get Pinsir, I could get Tauros in this area, so there's a lot of good Pokemon available here. This encounter took me about an hour of clicking the left and right button. And in the back of my mind I was just hoping for that Scyther, hoping for something good, and in the end they gave me the Dele Whoop. Which on one side I'm happy about for the memes, but on the other, Kricketune is really bad, so it's not going to be too useful. It does have a really good looking shiny though. I love the gold on it. With my Cricket in hand, I went on over to Maylene, the 4th gym leader. And Maylene's leading Pokemon is going to be Medicham, which can do a lot of damage to me with Fake Out and High Jump Kick, but my Swampert manages to hit back with an Aqua Tail to kill. Drake manages to kill Machamp with a single Psychic. She then swaps in Toxicroak for some reason, which is 4 times weak to Psychic, so that's definitely not surviving one. For Lucario, I decided to swap in my own fighting type Wez, 2 Mach Punches later and it's down already. For Glade, I decided to stay in and kill with a couple of Flame Wheels while I got hit with a Zen Headbutt. Her last Pokemon is an Infernape of her own. I Mach Punched once more before going down to her own Mach Punch, and shortly after, Chimecho could just clean it up with one more Psychic, giving me my 4th gym badge and another opportunity to get a shiny Pokemon. Before we do that though, there was another incident with Team Galactic, but have no fear, Looker is here. And after the man does absolutely nothing, like always, we then go to the move tutor to get some new moves on our Pokemon. We find the big wrestling water guy standing in the rain, because where else would he be? And before we actually take on the big water wrestling guy, I decided that I needed an electric type for the next gym because we have nothing that's good against water. I only knew one place to get consistent electric types, and that was at the Valley Windworks. Here I could get Voltorb, Electrike, Pachirisu, Elekid, Magnemite, and so on. This was definitely one of the fastest shinies that I've ever gotten up until this point. It only took me about 5 minutes of walking before I got myself a nice little shiny Magnemite, which is not the best looking shiny, but Magnezone is a lot better. We then named it Tron because, I mean, it just sounds like an electric type Pokemon name, doesn't it? And before we took on Crusher Wake, I wanted to grind up my Magnemite, so I went down to the Haunted Mansion where I could take on some Ghastlies for special attack EVs. I wasn't even in here for an entire minute, and I already ran into my next shiny Pokemon, which was Rattata. You heard that right, I got a Rattata as one of my encounters. Amazing. That's also the exact reason why I named it Please Why. It isn't too bad though, because it has the Guts ability, and if I can get a Toxicorp and maybe Facade on him, he can definitely be usable. Shortly after, my Magnemite evolved into a Magneton, and I then just had to go to Mount Coronet to grind him up one more level in order to get Magnezone as well. Getting Magnezone wasn't enough though, I still had to catch him up to the rest of the team, and I did that by going to the route next to Crusher Wake. And over here, while I was grinding, I found another shiny, this time a Krogunk. Another fighting type, which is definitely not what I needed because I already have Infernape, but then we also get the poison typing, which isn't that useful, so despite it being a good looking shiny, I'm not too happy with it as a Pokemon. I did decide to name it Brock because Brock also has a Krogunk in the anime, and after Magnezone catched up to the rest of the team, we had another rival battle, just in front of Crusher Wake's gym. Swampert killed Staraptor with Ice Punch, Breloom got destroyed by my Infernape's Fire Punches. He then swapped in a starter of his own, Empoleon, but I could just close combat it once. We get ourselves some Penguin Fillet. The big fatty Snorlax was no different, but then he swapped in Arcanine. So I decided to go into Swampert, then in Chimecho, and kill the Arcanine with 2 Psychics. He then went into Heracross, and with a combination of my Magnezone Thunderbolt, Kricketune Slash, and Infernape's Fire Punch, we managed to overpower our rival. So we can now enter the swimming pool, do some swimming, and take on Crusher Wake. I do hope for this battle that he's more of a Crusher Woke though. He does have permanent rain up in this gym, so I learned my Kricketune Sunny Day, led off with him, and made it all sunny so his water type Pokemon would dry out. I can now take way more water type moves than before, so I set up some sword stances with Dele Whoop, and then killed the Quagsire with Leech Life. His Gyarados was up next, and after he set up a Dragon Dance and did some decent damage with Aqua Tail, I also destroyed him with 2 slashes, and his Floatzel then ultimately finished off Whoop with Aqua Tail. I then swapped in the boy that I got specially for this gym, Magnezone, Thunderbolt the Floatzel, it's down and out. His Ludicolo then almost took out my Magnezone, so I swapped out into Chimecho to go and kill it with some Psychics, and his final Pokemon was a Sharpedo. I tried to kill it with Grass Knot from Chimecho, but sadly enough, it had a Focus Sash and killed me, but I could then just swap in Swampert and kill with Earthquake. Getting our 5th gym badge, which means that we can now use Rattata as our next Pokemon, so that's what I do next, evolve him into Eradicate. He isn't fully caught up to the team though, but before we start grinding him up, I went ahead and followed the Team Galactic grunt, so that Cynthia could give us a spray to spray in the Psyduck's eyes. After doing so, we then had to go through everybody's favorite route in Pokemon Platinum and Diamond and Pearl, the Fog route. In this game though, they managed to actually make this the best route ever because it doesn't have Fog. At the end of the route, we do run into Dawn again and she wants to battle us. So we're going to be showing her my fancy little sparkling team, and we immediately get a good matchup against her Alakazam, which we can kill with 1 Leech Life from Whoop. She then goes into Mamoswine, who I try to kill with my Swamper's Aqua Tail, but before I can do so, she swaps out into Vaporeon, who I can hit with an Earthquake before I have to swap myself and bring in Chimecho. After using Recover until it runs out of Hydro Pumps, I then kill with Psychic. She then brings in her starter Torterra, so I go into Whoop to kill with Leech Lives. The Mamoswine comes back out, and for some reason I thought that my Kricketune could outspeed here, and that's the death of Whoop. Luckily for us, we still have Wes on the team, who's still alive and can kill Mamoswine with Drain Punch and Lopunny with Drain Punch too. And with the Dawn battle out of the way, we have to fight the Fortnite Ninja. This battle was pretty easy though. Magnezone destroys Crobat with Thunderbolt. Honchkrow gets killed by Swamper's Ice Punch and Rock Slide. He then has a Magnezone of his own, and we all know that Earthquake is the best thing to deal with Magnezone, so it goes down rather quickly. And his last Pokemon is a Weavile, which we can take out with a Rock Slide and an Earthquake. After saving the old woman, which is apparently Cynthia's grandma, we also get the HM for Surf. But before we can go and take on Byron, the 6th gym leader, we have to go to the ballpark in order to get some tea from this guy, but I have no idea who this is. I've never seen him before. I think the girl to the right of him is from Black and White, the Psychic type Elite 4 member, but him, never seen him before. After acquiring the tea, we then give it to the guards so we can go through and pull up on the bridge to fight our rival Mark again. He still leads with Staraptor just like in the regular Platinum, so we're just going to kill that with Thron's Thunderbolt. Arcanine went down to Swamper's Aqua Tail, but not before hitting an extreme speed and a close combat on me. Drake manages to take care of Breloom with Psychics, and normally we would have been able to take down Heracross too, but it sadly enough outspeeds me and kills with Night Slash. So Wes can come in, and this time I still don't have a fire type move on him. I really should have changed that. So I set up a Swords Dance and then killed with Thunder Punch. And the last 2 Pokemon, Empoleon and Snorlax, also got destroyed by my Infernape's Drain Punches. Normally we could just take on the next gym leader now, but before we can do that, we have to go to Iron Island and take on Riley, which is also something that I don't really get. Why don't we get a regular Riley fight in the normal Pokemon Platinum? This is definitely the closest that we're going to get though, so let's take him on. He leads with an Absol, which Whoop can kill with Leech Life. Salamence gets destroyed by my Magnezone's Thunderbolt. Lucario then first kills my Cricket and then gets destroyed by my Fire Monkey's Drain Punches. My little Bell kills his Metal Giant with Shadow Balls. He then has a Big Bear, who my Fiery Monkey once again kills with Close Combat, and the final Pokemon, Slacking, shares the same fate. That's the Riley battle out of the way. Now we have to battle with Riley to stop some Team Galactic goons, and after doing so, Byron finally gives us consent to take him on. And I wish this battle went really hard for me, but yeah, nah, I really didn't. I just set up Swords Dances with Infernape, Drain Punch, Bronzong, Steelix, Aggron, survived with Sturdy, but then got killed by another one. For Fortress, I wanted to be sure, so I killed with Close Combat, and then Magnezone and Bastiodon both just died instantly. So we get 6 gym badges rather quickly, which means that we can now use Krogunk. And I think I'm going to be using him instead of Whoop because Whoop really isn't that useful. I then go to the library to watch the lakes go boom, and went to the lakes to destroy both admins, which I would say is very easy, so we're just going to be skipping over these battles. Since I took Krogunk to these battles and gave him the EXP share, he is going to be evolving into Toxicroak. Since the lakes are now dealt with, we can go to the next point of interest, which is Snow Point City. It might be a bit cold here, but that doesn't stop Maylene from coming here in a tank top. Since she's wearing a tank top though, she can put Regigigas to sleep. And since we did help a little bit, we also get consent to take on the 7th gym leader Candace, or Canned Ice, because she's an ice type gym leader. Luckily for us though, we have the perfect counter for this, a fire fighting type monkey, who without any setup can easily just kill one Christmas tree with Fire Punch. For Walrein, I swapped in Toxicroak, hit one Vacuum Wave, but apparently it had a berry which lowered fighting type moves. So my big toad, or whatever Toxicroak is, got killed by Blizzard. I then brought in Magnezone, who killed the big walrus with Thunderbolt, but then she had a Mammoth. I knew it was going to go for a ground type move, so I swapped in my Levitate Chimecho, who can kill with a single critical hit Psychic. Weavile then killed me with Crunch, so I went into my Eradicate, who somehow knows Flame Wheel, so a Flame Wheel and a Sucker Punch later, and the Weavile is now dead. Glaceon also took one more Flame Wheel before taking me out with Blizzard. And Infernape could then clean up the last 2 Pokemon with Drain Punch and Fire Punch. 7 gym badges acquired, which means we can get another shiny Pokemon if we want to, but we're going to wait a little bit. Since this will be our last shiny Pokemon, I do want to choose something very good. So we go and watch Mark lose to the purple-haired admin, head on over to watch a useless Cyrus speech.
What the dog doing?
And we then go to his office to tell him how bad his speech actually was. And he isn't too happy with that. He's taking us on. Luckily, we're good though. Magnezone takes care of Crobat with Thunderbolt. Infernape kills Hamdoom with Drain Punch. Punchcrow kills my Magnezone with Heat Wave. Why does it know Heat Wave? I don't understand. Is it a hot bird? Do they want to turn it into KFC chicken? Probably. Doesn't really matter though, we're just taking it out with my Swampert's Ice Punch. We also kill Magnezone with Earthquake, and the final Pokemon, Weavile, kills my Infernape with Aerial Ace, and also kills my Eradicate with Crunch and Ice Shard. Luckily, we still have Brock with Vacuum Wave to clean things up. We then go to the top of Mount Coronet to see a portal open up, just like always. After jumping in, we then go on the Sideways Waterfall, which is definitely the coolest feature in the entirety of Platinum. And at the end of the Distortion World, we have to fight Cyrus again. He first has Dialga and Palkia at level 70, so I am going to be going with my Chimecho and Swampert to deal with them with Dazzling Gleams and Earthquakes. Eventually my Swampert does fall, but Chimecho can finish them off with one last Dazzling Gleam. And after this, we have another Cyrus battle. That's 3 in a row. Maybe he can win now because it's 3rd times the charm, but I highly doubt it. Just like always, Magnezone deals with Crobat after one Thunderbolt. Houndoom gets killed by Drain Punch from Infernape. Chimecho tries to take down Gyarados, but sadly enough doesn't succeed, and he swaps out Gyarados for Magnezone. So I go into Swampert and kill with Earthquake. Honchkrow then proceeds to take me out with Brave Bird, so I go into Magnezone and he somehow lands a Thunder Wave on me. I don't know how you can electrify an electric Pokemon, but we still kill with Thunderbolt after. I also misclick on the next Pokemon Weavile. I meant to go for Flash Cannon, but hit a Thunderbolt instead, which is the downfall of Magnezone. But we still have Toxicroak with Vacuum Wave, who can outspeed and kill because it's priority. And I can then also kill the last Pokemon Gyarados with 2 more Sludge Bombs. This now grants us access to a Giratina, so I decided that my next shiny Pokemon was going to be the Box Art Legendary. Not only because it is a legendary, but also because it has one of the best shinies in the existence of Pokemon. This one actually took me about 50 minutes to get, so not too long. And since the trade-off is a legendary with amazing stats and an amazing looking shiny, I'm not going to complain. I named them What the Dog Doin', and after saving the world from a certain Delmise, we went on over to the last gym leader, Volkner, and he starts off with his thrusty Jolteon, who takes down my Toxicroak pretty quickly. So I decide to swap in an electric type of my own, Magnezone, and then Bug Buzz the Jolteon, which doesn't do too much, but it almost takes him out. And as I try to go for another one, he swaps in Rotom Heat. And with this microwave looking ass staring down my Magnezone, I knew I had to go into the fire type of my own, Infernape, Drain Punch it, and destroy the Magnetron. He then has even more house appliances going to his washing machine next. So I try to go into Magnezone because I feel like this is my only answer here, but I get killed by 2 Hydro Pumps without being able to do anything. So I go into Eradicate, set up a Swords Dance, he makes the mistake of paralyzing me, which triggers my Guts ability, and I then kill next turn with the Strength. Electivire is up next, which is a fighting type in this game. I'm able to hit one more Sucker Punch, but then go down to Wild Charge. It's then fighting type against fighting type. I Drain Punch him again to kill. Raichu then comes in and almost kills me with a Surf, but I can kill with 2 Drain Punches since he decided to use a full Restore the second turn, but I did get paralyzed by the Static ability. Jolteon then shares the same fate as his Raichu, and his last Pokemon is Luxray, who destroys me with Wild Charge since I can't outspeed now. But luckily for us, I still had Swampert in the bag, one more Earthquake, one more kill, one last gym badge. This gives us the ability to move on over to Victory Road after showing this girl around the cave because she wanted a house tour. We then find Dawn looking at a rock. This apparently triggers her and starts a battle. And this is also the first time that you guys are going to see Giratina in action, immediately destroying her Alakazam with Shadow Force. I then swap out Giratina for Toxicroak to deal with her Clefable with only 1 Sludge Bomb. I can then hit the next Pokemon Mamoswine with one more Vacuum Wave before going down to an Icicle Crash. Wes can then kill with Fire Punch before she brings in Vaporeon. So I go into Magnezone, manage to paralyze on my first Thunderbolt and then kill with the second. I also try to take out Torterra with Bug Buzz, but he manages to survive and hit me with Stone Edge to kill. Infernape can then finish it off with Fire Punch before she swaps in Lopunny, which I can then kill with 2 more Drain Punches, and that is the end of the Dawn battle. Which means we get access to the Pokemon League, but not to the Elite Four and Champion yet. We first have to take on Mark one final time. I decided to grind up my team up to level 75, which is a pretty decent level for the Elite Four, and my Swampert is going to be matching up against his Staraptor. 1 Ice Punch later, and it's down and out. Breloom is next. And 1 Dragon Pulse from Giratina already takes out the Mushroom Chicken. Empoleon gets killed by a single Aura Sphere. Arcanine by an Earth Power. For Heracross, I finally decided to swap out into Infernape to kill with Fire Punch. And last and also least, we punch Snorlax in the gut, and that causes it to faint, so we can now move on over to the first Elite Four member, Aaron. Since he has a full Bug-type team except for Drapion, we are going to be starting with Infernape and kill his first Pokemon Scyther with Fire Punch. Yanmega is going to be sharing the same fate as the Scyther. For Drapion, I decided to switch it up a little bit and go for Drain Punch, which still killed, by the way. He then has a Flygon, and in this game, Flygon is Bug Dragon, which he, in my opinion, actually should be. So I went into Giratina expecting a ground type move, but he went for Draco Meteor, and that is basically the end of my Giratina. Since the turn after, we don't outspeed and we get killed by another. But I decide to go into Swampert after that and just kill with 2 more Ice Punches. He then swaps in Pinsir, so I go back into my Bug Killer and Fire Punch it. And last up is Scizor, which is 4 times weak to Fire Punch, so it's definitely not surviving one of those. With Aaron out of the way, we now have Bertha next up on the list, which is probably my least Elite Four member, and she leads with a Hippo down, which sets up the Sandstream immediately. So I'm going to be leading with Swampert, and while she sets up Stealth Rocks, I can kill with 2 Waterfalls. She then makes the mistake by going into Torterra, so we can kill that thing with an Ice Punch. Rhyperior somehow survives a Waterfall, hits me back with an Earthquake, doing a lot of damage, but the turn after she uses a full Restore, and this time we do 1 shot. Sudowoodo then also survives a Waterfall because of a berry that he's holding, and he kills my Swampert with Hammer Arm the turn after. Infernape can then come in and destroy it with Drain Punch before she swaps in Gliscor. So I go into Giratina and finish it off with 2 Dragon Pulses. Camerupt is her last Pokemon, and 2 more Earth Powers seal the deal. That concludes our battle with Bertha, which means that we can move on over to the Hothead Flint. He starts with Rapidash, so I'm going to be leading with Giratina because I thought Earth Power was going to be a good idea. Somehow it didn't really one-shot, and after I try to go for my second one, he swaps in Drifblim to cancel it out. Luckily we're a Ghost type ourselves, so we can then kill with Shadow Ball. Steelix then takes an Earth Power and 2 Aura Spheres to go down, so it wasn't too much of a hassle to take down Steelix. Rapidash then killed itself with Flare Blitz, so that was that. Goodbye horse. We also take down Infernape with Earth Power after it hits itself with Flare Blitz. And of course the Lopunny takes down my Giratina. Not that it matters too much because we have our own Infernape here, 2 more Drain Punches because she had a Focus Sash on her, and Flint is also out of the picture. And the next trainer is Lucian with his Psychic types, which shouldn't be too hard to take down since we have Giratina, and he already finishes off the first Pokemon, Hypno, with some Shadow Balls. The next Pokemon is Gardevoir, and it outspeeds me and somehow also one-shots me with a single Moonblast. So I bring in Toxicroak and kill with one single Sludge Bomb. For Slowbro, I swap in Tron to kill with Thunderbolt. For Galate, I swap back into Toxicroak to take the close combat, and then hit back with Sludge Bomb, but it doesn't quite take it out, and we get destroyed by a Psycho Cut. Luckily, my Raticate can come in to eradicate it with a Return, then eradicate the Jinx with Sucker Punch, and the Bronzong with 2 Flame Wheels. That's Lucian destroyed. Let's move on over to the final battle of this game with Cynthia. The final showdown. Let's see who's going to win. She leads with a Clefable, so I'm going to be leading with Toxicroak, and I set up 3 nasty plots and then proceed to kill the Clefable with Sludge Bomb. She then brings in her Garchomp, and I sadly enough don't outspeed, so I get killed by a single Earthquake. But I do still have Swampert on the team, and with my Ice Punches, I can bring it down into red health and also freeze it, but then she uses a full restore, and the turn after, I don't kill with my Ice Punch, and I get destroyed by Earthquake. So I swap in Raticate, who can then kill with a Return, luckily enough. He also manages to one-shot her Lopunny with Return, and also do a large amount of damage on my Lodic, but it doesn't quite kill, and we get taken down by Hydro Pump. So I bring in my Water-type killer Magnezone, Thunderbolt on my Lodic twice, and that's the end of it. Her next Pokemon is Roserade, so I hit one more Flash Cannon because I thought this thing couldn't hit me. Apparently it has Shadow Balls, so 2 of those can finish off my Magnezone, but I still have an Infernape on the team, so we can Fire Punch it to turn after. Since our last Pokemon is Mismagius, I try to stay in and hit a Fire Punch, but it somehow outspeeds and kills me with Moonblast. But we still have our Giratina as our last hope. 1 more Shadow Ball is all we need. Sadly enough, we get paralyzed, and we also managed to not kill with our first Shadow Ball. She uses a full restore, but the second one hits and finishes off Mismagius. This dethrones Cynthia as the champion of the Sinnoh region and gives us the crown of the best shiny Pokemon trainer in this entire game. That was my shiny journey on Pokemon Renegade Platinum. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite shiny Pokemon in the video was. And if you have a shiny Pokemon team of yourself on any Pokemon game, please send it to me on Twitter. I would love to see all of your teams. Also, let me know what game you would like me to play next. I also want to thank my membership and Patreon supporters. As always, they really do help me out. If you want to help me too, you can sign up in the link in the description. It is always appreciated, but not needed. And as always, people, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm Zwiggo, and I'll see you guys next time.